Hola.
Hello. Happy Monday.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Okay, sorry. So sorry. I'm not going to be a negative Nancy.
Well, I'm going to go that far. I think you should change your name to Nancy. We just
So
listened to a whole podcast. How?
what do when I do this, what does it make you think of?
I can't think of the correct word. The first word is not irritated. I'm concerned. I'm
So
concerned
so
because
the
that means
first two adjectives are irritated and concerned.
okay,
Okay.
but let me tell you why.
Okay.
It's because I know that jug means that you're doing 75 hard. And I know what that means. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, this jug. Hey, and I went to Walmart by myself and bought this morning.
I was going to say, I don't remember you asking me to buy you that. So
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. So yeah, this does mean 75 hard.
That's
I'm
also
starting
very
today.
sad.
And you know what? Walmart doesn't take Apple Pay.
No, they don't.
I had to go back
So
to
does
my
that mean?
car
Oh, I was going to
and
say, did you actually have your wallet?
I had to go back to my car and get my wallet. That's ridiculous.
Okay, but did you take your picture this morning?
I haven't taken the picture yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's on my to-do list. I still have to work out one more time outside. And so Ari gets a nice little bike ride. And
Well, let me ask you this. I know this is totally off topic and we'll get to the market report in a minute. But what made you decide to do 75 hard again?
because I really need to refocus and work on my mental disciplines.
Okay.
It's a focusing tool for me.
Okay.
It's about learning to do things that I don't want to do.
So you're the type of person, obviously, that needs extreme accountability.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Yes.
can't do just like a little smidgen, like checklists. It has to be like extreme accountability.
Well, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because, well, and this goes into like the real estate market. We're doing a lot of things that normally we don't like to do. But you know what? What's funny is that I think you did a post this morning about me doing some cold calls and trying to find buyers for our listings, and on the saddle again. It just seems like it kind of feels good.
It does feel good. I think if I'm being honest, and I think you could ask any person who's been in real estate the last 10 years, especially 20 plus like us, like this market has done a little bit of a number on us mentally over the last 18 months. Not that we don't still love it or that we aren't passionate about it or that we aren't good at what we do. It's just been challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge. And yeah, it's been rough. So I can understand where you would need sort of a refocus.
Well, it's because I think it all comes from care and actual love for our clients, that we want to do good for them. We want to see the best results possible, and sometimes that road is bumpy, and it's filled with challenges, and we still get the result. It's just when we get there, it's like, wow, we went through a lot.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, I feel a little beat up sometimes at the finish line. It's a struggle to get to the finish line, but also I think it's because we have a mentality of we're not really good at just saying, well, this is just the way it is, so this is the way it has to be. That's a tough pill for us to swallow, And so I think it is requiring more thought and insight and effort on behalf of our clients, because I'm just not okay with it just being like, this is just the way it is.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where it came from. Like I wanted to increase my mental toughness. So this is one way to really do that.
Well, and I think equally, we talk about how important it is for agents to be committed to knowing the market and staying active in the market and knowing neighborhoods and trends and all those things. But it is also equally important that your real estate agent is working on themselves, because this is tough and it is mentally taxing. And so if you have an agent who is committed to personal growth, or going to trainings, or doing these things with education and even bettering themselves like you are through 75 Hard or whatever it might be, I commend that, because you do have to take some time, or it'll just beat you down.
Yeah.
So
anyway, that's where it's coming from.
Well, I wish you luck in your 75 Hard, and I wish me and the girls even more luck.
Yeah, you're going to need it, because
Yes.
I tend to be not the funnest person to be around, especially the first week, because it's like a detox of all those bad habits that you accumulate over the years, and they all come to a head, and they just stare you right in the face. And it has nothing against you guys. It's all about self-reflection, and it's about not liking the person that I see in the mirror. That's where that comes from. And when I finish it,
I love that you're able to acknowledge that and figure out a way to change that, because a lot of people would just stay where they are and just spiral down into, I don't know where. But I'm interested to know out there, like if you guys want to throw in the comments, like when you are getting into sort of a mental funk, what are some of the things that you guys do to kind of get yourself back on track? What are your tips and tricks that could help us or help anybody who's watching this? Because I think it's something that it's not a one and done. It's always ongoing. And so you should always have some tools in your toolbox for when you're getting a little funky, to snap yourself out of that and get back on track. So anyway.
Yeah.
Aurora said she's glad that she spent time with us last week then.
Yeah.
You should be.
I was a fun dad, hopefully, and now I'll be kind of grumpy dad. So.
All right.
So what's going on in the real estate market? That was kind of a big, long segue into real estate in Denver.
Yes. It's still interesting, to say the least. We will probably sound like a broken record, but I think that it's important to continue, even if it's the same news over and over. It's still our responsibility and our commitment to all of you to deliver that news. And so here we are. Do you want to share the market watch, or do you want me to?
Oh, I could do that. Yeah. All right. Do you see that?
I do.
So here's the big number that kind of screams at me.
Again,
the largest number is over 3,000 price reductions in the last week.
Well, for those of you who've been watching this and consistently watching our lives, you've seen that number grow week over week. I know when we first started doing these lives 3 or 4 months ago, that was in like below 1,000. And it has just steadily grown over the last 90 days to a number that is crazy to me. 3,000 price reductions in 1 week.
Yeah. I mean, on a positive note, it's people are getting real about what's going on in the market. So they're seeing, a need for you to reduce the price. It could have been that you're just out of bounds anyway. It could be those sellers where they're just like, we just want to start high and then come down. which is a strategy that never works.
Mm-hmm.
But on a good note, we had 1,400 pendings.
Yeah, so we've talked about this balance that has needed to happen, and I think we're starting to see that shift a little bit. It's clear that interest rates aren't doing what everybody was hoping they would do, and I don't see that changing significantly very quickly. And so, as we've talked about for the last few months, is in order for that to bridge the gap, some pricing adjustments need to be made. It just has to. And so they're slowly coming down to a point where it's starting to make a little more sense and offsetting these interest rates, which I will refer to and continue to refer to as normal interest rates, even though people don't want to hear that. They're normal interest rates. And so we just need the pricing to get back down to normal levels, and that will be a sweet spot for us.
And then we had 1,191 closings, which is fantastic.
That's higher.
So it's not like real estate sales are not happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's still closings every day, as we say,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's
Mm-hmm.
still people, there's still buyers, and there's still sellers that are coming together and agreeing on purchasing property. And it's kind of in line with, the average is about 1,000 a week. So that's good to see.
And the name of the game still is just strategy, having that correct strategy, having those tough conversations, which we continue to still have. We've actually let some listings go recently because we just weren't on the same page with strategy. And that's okay. Like we've said before, like we are not the agent for everybody. And we understand that and we respect that. Our style is not for everybody. And that's okay. That's why there's how many millions of real estate agents out there. It's fine. But, we believe so much in our strategies and the way that we do business and the knowledge that we have in the market that we really aren't willing to compromise much on that. And so there have been times where we just have to walk away, and that's okay.
Yeah, I guess we've kind of become the agent that when you absolutely have to sell, we're the agent for you.
Yeah.
Because that's who those are the folks who are winning. About a third of the market are the most motivated sellers out there. Mm-hmm. And those are the ones that are making the regular, the price reductions fairly quickly if you're not seeing the showings right away. And the market tells you, we don't have to wait the 30, 60, 90 days to know what the market is. If in 2 weeks, with all the technology and all the syndication and all the exposure that these listings get, you'll know within the first 2 weeks whether you're priced right or not.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because we do get quite a bit of pushback from some of our clients when we feel like a price adjustment needs to be made. So what are the metrics that we use to determine? Because I feel like a lot of times real estate agents, and sometimes for a good reason, get a bad rep of, well, you're just going to have me come in here and just reduce until we get an offer, and that's your plan. That's not our plan. Our plan is to price it correctly from the beginning. But depending on timing, from the time and this is true, from the time we sit down and you even sign paperwork with us and you need a couple of weeks to get your house ready, guess what? The market changed. Yes, it's changing by the week. I have to have a conversation with some clients that signed with me 3 weeks ago that now we have to have a different conversation because there's been about 40 price reductions in that zip code in the last 2 weeks. So you can have, what we like to say is this conversation is based on today when we sit down and price and do the other things, but we watch it every day. This could change. And so what are those metrics that we use here, the Estradas, that would determine, hey, we think that we need a price reduction?
Well, we study the market with actives and pendings, with most of the focus on pendings, because actives really don't mean anything, but pendings do. take my advice and shut up from everything.
Oh no.
It just rolled off my tongue. Oh my gosh. Brought me back to my childhood. But seriously, pendings is what I look at, because that just means the buyer and a seller came together and agreed on a price. So,
Well, and that is something that consumers don't know the details of. We can tell you what something's active for. We can tell you what something is sold for. We don't know what something is pending for. And I think that gets lost with a lot of clients. And they're like, well, that was listed at $1 million and it went under contract, so mine must be right. But you don't know. Like, we don't know what that went under contract. My guess, my gut in doing this for as long as I've been doing this, if it was on the market for 30 to 45 days and it's under contract at the original list price, it's not under contract at the original list price. It's under contract for less. Now, sometimes we can find that out. Most of the time we can't. But what we need to see is like, okay, when that price reduction happened on this pending property now, how many days did it take for it to go pending?
mm-hmm.
It was on the market all this time at this price, and then they made it this price. How long did it take? And usually it's only a couple days after that price reduction. So
yeah,
go ahead.
And I just can't emphasize the buzz that a new listing in the first 2 weeks on the market, like all that excitement and buildup. And then when you're just priced too high, it's just such a letdown for the market. Like, they want it to be there, but when it's not there, it's like a wonk, wonk, wonk kind of feeling. And buyers get so disappointed. And that's why it's so hard to recover from. And that's why you tend to chase the market after those first 2 weeks, especially after the first 30 days. Because if something's on the market for more than 30 days, what's the first question they ask? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
Well, and that's the thing. The demand is there. The demand
is there. Yes.
We have, for our real estate friends who watch this, maybe they probably don't, but if you are, we have a listing that had almost 60 showings. 60 showings. For those of you who don't know, that is like the biggest gift right now in the real estate market, to have that many showings. But unfortunately, pricing was out of bounds and there were some disappointed buyers. But my point to that is the demand is there.
We had 2 offers.
Yes. Pricing. Just couldn't put it together. But so it's not for lack of, there's just not people out there who want to buy my house. Sellers are looking for somebody who's willing to pay what they want for it. And that's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. There are buyers out there wanting your house for the correct price. That's where the demand is. And so we are here to try to help our clients bridge that gap. So this actually is, as crazy as it sounds, exciting times for us.
Yeah.
Because this is like when you can put it into a sports analogy. I'm not good with sports analogies, but like when you've put in all the training and all the time and then you get your shot, like this is your chance. This is your time to shine, right? That's kind of how I feel like right now, because we've spent 25 years invested 100% into solving problems for people in and around real estate, that now we're getting to pull out some tools that we haven't been able to use in a while to get things done. And that's exciting.
Well, and it feels really good because people that come to us really need our help.
Yeah.
And as opposed to a few years ago where they're just like, hey, if I get this number, then I'll move. But now it's like, oh man, we got to all work as a team, come up with the plan and execute the plan the best way that we can.
Right.
And I think that feels really good, because when you really get buy-in from all parties, there's a certain amount of magic that happens that I really enjoy.
I agree.
So, well, what are some creative ways that we can present that are really starting to work out there?
Well, right now we're having some success in bridging a gap with some 203K loans, which people, the amount of times that we've heard people say, I didn't know this was a thing, is crazy to me. And they haven't been a thing because things have moved so quickly for a while in the market. Well, things aren't moving as quickly. And some of these clients, some of these sellers who do have to sell aren't in a position to necessarily do what they need to do to make the house shine. So there are some listings that aren't showing so great right now. And for whatever reason, like you said, sometimes when someone really has to sell, they really have to sell and they're not able to get it to a place that's move-in ready or the condition is impeccable. And so we are being able to use the 203K loan, which essentially is a rehab loan, also known as a rehab loan. It's an FHA loan, or it can be conventional as well, where you can finance in the repairs and remodeling that a house might need. So you don't have to have all of that money sitting there up front to fix up the house. You basically get the house for whatever the best price you can. You get a loan for the repaired value. And then that in between, the lender gives you an increments in stages to complete the rehab of a property. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. And there's where I think there's a need that's not getting met, or there's a market that's kind of an in-between, because you have the market value and then you have the investor value, which is actually lower. You can't even see it.
Yeah, that's off the screen.
Yeah, the cash investor. So the cash investor has to build in a profit. So it has to be low enough for them to make their margin plus all the repairs and all the holding costs. So you're paying for that as a seller. So all your, open door offers and all the other cash investor offers and all that, you're going to see, those kind of offers way down here. But what we're missing is that middle of the market where there's a buyer that's willing to pay more than the cash investor and get a renovation loan to fix it up. And I think we're really missing that. Mm-hmm. And it's still about as convenient as getting a cash offer, because the cash investors still do their inspections. They say they don't, but they do. They still check out the roof. They still check out the HVAC. They still check out the sewer line and all those things. But with renovation loans, those don't matter, because you can wrap all those things into the renovation loan and finance that.
Yeah. So if the roof is shot, you don't need to ask the seller to replace the roof. You just work it into your renovation loan costs. And there you go. So it's a win for the buyer and it's a win for the seller, because the seller doesn't have all of these unexpected costs that pop up trying to get the house financing approved,
right,
or any of those things. So it sounds too good to be true, and that's what people say, but we have actually closed these loans. They do exist. Ruben actually does these loans as part of him being a mortgage broker. So yeah, it's a great way, because we have so many people who are like, I'm at the top of my budget or whatever, and I don't have the costs, or I don't have the cash on hand to fix these 3 things. All right, well, let's talk about this option. And maybe we can go from a conventional to an FHA with less down. Therefore, we can go a little bit higher in price. And that's when the magic starts to happen, right? Adjusting price and rate and down payment and renovation costs, all those things. That's where we come into play and say, here are all of your options. And we've been told, like, sometimes we give way too many options, and I would rather have somebody tell me that than I didn't give them enough. We recently had a client was like, you gave us so many options. Thank you for that. We still stuck with this one. But yeah, we'll give you every option that could possibly work. Do you want to go really high end? Do you want to just go builder grade? Do you not want to fix this? Do you just want to do landscaping? All those things. So possibilities are endless with a renovation loan. And I think that there is a great opportunity for those right now in this market. So we're utilizing that.
The other thing I want to talk about is reverse purchases.
Reverse mortgage.
Yeah. So this would be a reverse mortgage purchase, which we had a builder rep call us the other day, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I just closed my first reverse mortgage purchase."
Which you told her about.
Which, yeah, I told her about because she had never heard of it. So this is perfect for anybody that's over 62 plus, and they don't want to, let's say they have a home to sell and they don't want to use their entire equity to put down on the next home, or they don't have enough. Maybe, it's an older home. They couldn't get as much as they thought out of it, but they still don't want a payment on the next house. They may want to look at a reverse mortgage purchase because you only need about 2/3 down, and it still has the reverse mortgage benefits, meaning no payment. You do not have to make a payment. Plus, you build a credit line. So you could either stay liquid and put that rest of the money that you make on the sale in the bank, or use it towards whatever else. I don't know. But that is an incredible option that most people are not thinking about right now.
Well, and I love the option of reverse mortgage. And actually, if you're watching this now or later, if you guys want to comment reverse mortgage, and you would like us to have kind of a segment on just reverse mortgage, because reverse mortgage has such a bad rap and it has changed tremendously recently. And it is a huge tool, and one that, I've talked about in the past about it gives you the opportunity to enjoy time and experiences and things with your family while you're here, rather than just sitting on your equity for them to use without you later. So there are so many things that you can do with it. And it is not the bank's going to come take my house and the bank's going to come take my parents' house. And it's not that. And I encourage you all, if you have, parents our age and older, to really look into it, because it is a phenomenal product. And so we would be happy to expand on that a little bit more if you guys want to, or really anything that we're talking about, just let us know. And we're happy to do like a whole segment on that at another time.
It's a great product for aging in place too, even as a reverse mortgage refinance.
If you want to have care come in, and you don't have the funds for that, that is an option as well. So like I said, it's such an amazing tool. Cold calling, which that's on you. That's not on me. I don't do that. I have very few rules in my business other than I will not cold call.
Yeah. Well, we got to do what we got to do. And this is just the way. It's a way to market a listing efficiently, calling around neighborhoods, calling up and down the streets, which is kind of cool because most of the people know that property is for sale. I was doing an open house at one of our listings last weekend, and they're like, I've seen this house for 30 years. I've lived here and I've never seen the inside. And I was talking to the neighbor, and he had very fond memories with the people that were selling it and doing, backyard events and things like that. And he'd never been inside. And when I cold call those people, I could actually be on the phone for quite a while. But that's what that gives me is there's a sense of community out there. And I really enjoy just getting into that and just hearing about, what that specific neighborhood, what's the value. I also get some tips on how to market the property better, because they say, oh, that was the house for, great view for fireworks, or that was the house where, it's right by this trail or whatever. And it's something that maybe we don't learn about the property that the neighbors are a great source of information for. And that's where I think some of the magic that comes into talking with people that we've really kind of gotten away from with social media and everything else, is that we stopped having two-way conversations. And this is just another way for us to do a better job for our clients, to get the inside scoop on the neighborhoods and what makes it so desirable, that I really enjoy.
Well, you bring up a good point in that what this market is also bringing us is the chance to bring connection back into real estate, which has been missing because it's been so frantic. And so crazy that being able to bring that connection back has been really awesome, because we are connecting on a pretty deep level with a lot of our clients right now because they do have specific needs. And I am always humbled and honored that they allow us to come into that space, because it is a very personal space for a lot of people. So I've been really grateful, just again, with connection.
Yeah.
So
I love
that's
that.
been awesome.
Love
The other two ways that we are using our tools to help in this market is REO listings. For those of you who don't know, those are real estate owned listings, also known as bank owned, also known as foreclosure listings. We are one of the very few agents in the Denver metro area who are consistently getting these. And some of them are priced pretty well, and some of them are in decent condition. And so we've had some great luck utilizing our REO listings to help clients bridge a gap and find a solution for them. So if you're not on our list of people who receive our REO or foreclosure list, you need to message us, and we'll make sure that you get on that list so that you are the first to know of any foreclosure listings that may be coming up soon.
Yep.
And then we also have off-market listings that we've been utilizing. When you've been in this business as long as you have, there are a lot of people who come to you with a lot of different scenarios, which then leads to some off-market listings. And we've been able to just connect people, save them commissions, save them costs, save them fix-up, save them the hassle of clearing the house out. So we've been able to just say, hey, you know what, if you want to just walk away, here's a person that'll allow you to do that, and they connect. So that's another tool that we've been able to use in this market, which has been exciting too.
All right.
So
what else do we need to do to wrap this baby up?
Just want to talk about, speaking of exposure of listings, we do have a few. So if you all know of anybody who, we still have our property in Fort Lupton, which is 1 year old. It is a stunning house, a small builder up there. So it's not like a Lennar or any of the big builders. It was a smaller builder up there. They are selling a 4-bedroom plus a loft, 3-bathroom, big yard, huge 3-car garage. Like, it's a big 3-car garage, not just kind of a 3-car garage. Like, it's a big 3-car garage. In Fort Lupton, right near the rec center there, and the library and the Safeway and all those things. We need to get that sold. So if you know of anybody who's looking for something like that, let us know. We have our new listing in North Aurora, which is literally about, 10 blocks from Fitzsimmons, Children's, VA, and all of the revamp that they're doing over there. I was surprised. It'd been a little bit since we've been over there, and we drove through there. I was like, wow, there's like restaurants and outdoor stuff and breweries, and it's really changing over there. So we have a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that we need to get sold for our really great clients. Huge lot, 2-car garage, private entrance to the basement, which so you could technically rent out the basement and they could have their own private area with a kitchenette area and everything, and maybe have some rental income that way. So we have that. We have a new one coming on in Parker this week. It is a attached, so like one side of a duplex, a couple years old. And
brand new sod and landscaping in the
brand new sod and landscaping. It is a 3-bedroom plus a loft with a basement. Right there off of 470 and what is that? Jordan.
Yeah.
Beautiful house. So that'll be coming on the market. So if you know of anybody there that is looking for that.
Yeah. We have one coming in Arvada.
And then we have one coming up in Arvada. Beautiful location in Arvada. It really is a tiny little pocket around like 64th and between Ward and Oak, between Ward and Kipling, basically. That is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a full finished basement. Beautiful backyard. Like, it is, my kids would love this backyard, but and it backs to a walking trail and it backs to Ralston Creek. So sitting on the deck, this beautiful deck, and hearing the creek go through, and it's amazing. So that'll be coming up in the next week or so. So if anybody looking at Arvada, and you also have some of the best neighbors around at that new listing. I think that was it.
And a couple more bank owned. So if
Oh yeah,
you
we have
want
a
a
couple
list of
more
those,
REOs, so we will
probably
keep
have
you guys
half a
posted on
dozen.
those. It'll be a couple weeks on those.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up was we are now offering again home equity reports. So again, if you guys are curious on how much equity and what your house might be worth right now, not last year, not next year, but like right now, what it's worth, just text equity to our office number and we will get you that report completely free, no obligation. But it is very important. Even if you have no intention of selling, we always recommend that you guys know how much equity you have, because you never know when you might have to tap into it. And it's just good to know, like, your bank account balance, your life insurance, your stocks, all of that. You should know the value of your biggest asset. So it's always good to at least once a year get one of those reports.
We call it an equity account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. You should always know how much is in your equity account. So
Yeah.
Again, text equity or comment here, and we'll get you a report over. And then our last thing is fun stuff. Our next event is our barbecue, and that is July 19th. At
And it's
noon.
not like a barbecue, like
No.
you come and we're grilling.
No.
It's come and have barbecue.
Yes, we are doing it at our favorite barbecue restaurant, which in my opinion is the best barbecue in Colorado. GQ, their new location in Thornton. So it's on 120th and just past Claude. So if you want details for that, text barbecue to our office number and we will get you the details for that. Again, that's at noon on July 19th. Come, we will have the best barbecue around. We'll have some games and just chill and have a great time together.
And come early, because once the barbecue's gone, it's gone.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
So
Yeah, I think that's it for today.
All right, that was jam-packed. So
yeah.
Lots of stuff, good stuff. So all right, we'll keep rocking and rolling out there. And
we appreciate you all. Thank you for continuing to send your friends, family, colleagues to us from the bottom of our hearts. We just cannot thank you enough. Our business is thriving and it is because of all of you. We appreciate you all.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.